We're going to go back into Daniel. I want to explain more about these four beasts in case some people don't get it. I'm going to go in Daniel chapter 8 too and try to put it all together so y'all can understand. It might be a little long video, or I might have to make another two of them. Alright, Daniel chapter 7 verse 1 said, in the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and vision of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told us some of the matter. Verse 2, Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heaven stroll upon the great sea. See, there's four beasts. See, they will fight upon the earth. See, that's what the four wind is. And they will fight. That's why I call it a beast, because it make war and fight and kill. Verse 3, and four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. See, so it came up from the sea. And people say that's because it came up from Europe, from a populated area. Well, that's not what it means. You know, it's saying the sea represent, the sea is represent waters, because it tells you in Revelation chapter 17 and verse 15. But it's really the same just because it's saying the sea. That's to mean that it's a populated area. You know, because it tells you, like I said, like in Daniel 7 and 17, it said these great beasts which are four kings which shall arise out of the earth. See, they will arise out of the earth. See, it says earth right here. See, that's why they make a mistake and say that the United States in Revelation chapter 13 and verse 11 saying that's the United States. But that's the Antichrist, the false prophet. That's how they get the wrong understanding, because it said it came up from the earth. The Bible is used, you know, different ways to explain itself. But it's the same thing. That's how people get deceived. It's how they deceive others. It's like the Lord called himself by different name. And he's talking about the same person. It's like he called us by different name. Call us Israel. You know, we are the salt of the earth, the light of the world. You know, a different thing, the bride of Christ, the elect, you know, sons of God. He called us by different name. But he's still talking about the same group of people, just like with Jesus Christ. You know, you call him Michael. He's an angel. And most men be saying he's not an angel. Who is that angel in Revelation chapter 10, verse 1? Who is that angel in Revelation chapter 20 and verse 1? Who is that angel in chapter 18? Chapter 1. This is what I'm trying to show y'all. This is Jesus Christ. He called himself by Michael. You know, Melchizedek. He's the same Lord. He called himself by different name. The Holy One of Israel. The Lamb, tribe of Judah. You just have to know who he's talking about when you're reading the Bible. All right. And verse 4, see, he said, the first was like a lion and had eagle wings. See, that's the United States and Britain. See, a lion nation in Britain. The U.S. came from Britain. You know, and Britain, United States, they're like allied. But all nations will be turning against each other at the end time, because the Bible said the nation will rise against nation. Maybe they won't flow with the U.S. no more. You know, because the Bible tell you that. You know, the U.S. pulling out of NATO. You know, NATO don't really want them no more, the U.S. You know, the whole nation having problem now. All right. And it said, the first was like a lion had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wing thereof were plucked. See, after they fight around, his horn gonna be plucked. Gonna be plucked up. They're gonna beat around. You know, Bush broke a rock horn. There's two horns, like I said, in Daniel chapter 8, it explained that. The eagle to the U.S. and the ram is the Mede and Persia. The Mede is a rock, and Persia is a ram. Persia turned to Iran in 1935. You see, so the wing thereof was plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth. See, it was lifted up from the earth. See how they go out of space? I've been telling y'all that for many years. The U.S. is going out of space. See how they went to the moon? On the other side of the moon and came back. They want next time they want to go, so they want to set up a space station on the moon, and from the moon they want to go to Mars. See, that's why the Bible says you were lifted up from the earth, made to stand upon his feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. They don't have a heart after God. The only thing you think about is computer. Women, children, everybody. That's the only thing. They don't forgot all about God. Got their mind up into space. What the computer can do. That's why the Bible says he was lifted up from the earth and made to stand upon his feet as a man. And a man's heart was given to it. See, they don't have a heart after God. They don't want to even talk about God. See, they don't know God's law anymore. They don't want to hear his commandments, his laws. They left all of God's law. All the thing they talk about, women right, abortion, women done took over. You know, and the man can't see it. I've been seeing that, telling them that for years. Because the Bible tells you that in Isaiah chapter 3, I think in verse 12. That women will rule over us and cause us to be destroyed. That's why we get destroyed. Our children are violent. And one thing lead to another. And people do not understand that because they left the word of God. They don't want to obey no more. So-called freedom. Freedom to have sex with Tom, Dick, and Harry. They lead to destroying the family. Now no man don't want to marry them no more. See? And they can't see it and they're wondering why. But that's another thing, you know, people need to talk about it. You know, when you get away from God, everything go to chaos. All right. Verse 5 said, and behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it, and they say thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh. Talking about the Russian bear. You're not talking about the Persian Empire. See, Babylon was the lion nation back then with Nebuchadnezzar. The Bible is dealing with the end time. It's not talking about Nebuchadnezzar in Daniel chapter 7, dealing with the end time. History repeats itself. It'd be a different nation at the end time. This is all what Jesus Christ is talking about too in Matthew chapter 24 and Mark chapter 13 and Luke chapter 21. That's dealing with the end time. You know, just like about the he-goat in Daniel chapter 8. the Bible clearly tells us. You know, I'll show it to y'all. In dealing with the end time. These people think, like I said, like the second beast, it was the Mede in Persia. They took over the Babylonian system, Nebuchadnezzar back then. See, but it's talking about the end time. At the end time, it's the Russian bear. You're watching on TV every day. See, he's making war in Ukraine. You got 3 ribs in his mouth. Let's say 3 countries in his mouth. He really got Georgia and he got Ukraine. He's not giving that up. A part of Ukraine. You got a part of Georgia. Yeah, it might be Chechnya next. I don't know. It could be another nation. But he's going to have 3 ribs. The Bible says he's going to have 3 ribs in his mouth. 3 countries in his mouth. Maybe not the whole country. It's a part that God took a rib from a man in the beginning and created a woman. So the woman is part of the man. That's why Russia said Crimea, like Georgia is part of the Russian Federation, part of Russia. So you got to understand what you be reading when you're reading the scriptures. Like I said, it raised up itself on one side. And he had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said, thus arrive. See? And they said, thus unto it arrive, devour much flesh. That's what Russia is doing, devouring a lot of flesh, killing a lot of people. Alright, verse 6 said, after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. See, he had 4 wings of a fowl, that beast. The beast had also 4 heads. See, he had 4 rulers, and dominion was given to it. That's the 3rd beast, the leopard. See, the leopard, after the Russian bear, see, they come in one after another, they overlap each other. Before the other one get out, the other one come in. Just like the United States came in right after 9/11, when they went into Afghanistan and took Iraq. When they beat Iraq. See, broke his horn. So, when Russia came in, the bear came in 2008. The United States came in 2001, 9/11. When the Twin Towers came down. And they went into Afghanistan and into Iraq. So it was the first beast, the lion. The eagle wing. The eagle wing was the head of it, really. The lion with the eagle wing. We like part of Britain, it came from Britain. Alright, let's see. There's the leopard. The leopard took over, like the leopard could take over as could be the next beast from after the United States break. After the United States break the rain horn. Then the leopard will come in with the 4 heads. It's going to be Russia, China, Britain, and the false prophet from the Vatican could be in there. They'll be ruling the world. The Vatican could be the head of the religion. See? Then after that, verse 7. See, verse 7 will tell you. He said, after this I saw in the night vision, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful, terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth, and devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it. And it had 10 horns. See, this beast had 10 horns. 10 kings. See? And verse 8 will tell you, it's verse 8 saying, I considered the horns. He's talking about the 10 kings, got an S on it. And Behold, there came up among them another little horn, singular. See, one horn, one single horn came up among them. That's the false prophet from the Vatican. Now consider the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were three of the first horn plucked up by the roots. See, which three horn was plucked up? See, and these men be saying, I'll be listening to them on the radio, be saying 3 of the 10 horn was plucked up by the roots. That is not true. 3 of the horn that was in the third beast, the leopard. The false prophet came out from the leopard because there were 4 of them. He came out from the leopard. When the 10 horn showed up, he got with the 10. After he got with the 10, he plucked them other 3 up who he was with in the third beast. Because the third beast had 4 heads. He was among the third beast. So when he got out, that left 3. He got out and got with the 10, so it left 3 of the third beast. And he plucked them up because he didn't need them no more. He had the 10 horn with him. He got with the 10 king. It's so simple. That's all I'm trying to tell you, show y'all. It said, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of men, and a mouth speaking great things. See? Tell you all about the Antichrist. See, when he's going to get destroyed. See, like I'm going to go down to verse 11. See, God going to destroy him, and then he's going to rule, set up his kingdom. But in verse 11 it say, I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words, the great words which the horn spake, I beheld, even until the beast was slain, and his body destroyed. So the beast was destroyed and given to the burning flame. And go back to Revelation chapter 19 and verse 20, you read about it. That he was destroyed. But everybody ain't going to be destroyed when the Lord come back. Because it's really telling you right here. Like in verse 12. See? That's what I'll be trying to say. These men make believe they have nothing here but ashes. And when Christ come back, you know, after the Great Tribulation, right after the Great Tribulation, when Christ come back and God destroy everybody, and I have nothing, no animals, no nothing here. Be just ashes. And now what he's saying. You can read in Ezekiel chapter 39. I think around verse 14. Everybody ain't going to be destroyed. That's why I tell you in Revelation, you know, Revelation chapter 20, you know, Satan ain't going to be destroyed. You know, everybody ain't going to be destroyed. Because Satan going to be destroyed like in verse 10 of Revelation chapter 20. You know, after the 1,000 years. You know. And people are going to get up around Jerusalem again. You're talking about that army. You know. See, a lot of time they be talking about the army, those wicked people, you know, going to be destroyed. That don't mean like everybody going to be destroyed. You know, after Satan be destroyed, everybody ain't going to be destroyed like in the flesh. Because after the 1,000 years, you see there going to be nation here, left here. They tell you in Zechariah chapter 14, there'll be nation here. And this is what it's saying right here, after the beast body get destroyed. It said in verse 12, say, as concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time. See, for a season and time. The life will prolong. See, everybody wasn't destroyed. And the man make believe, a lot of them make believe that everybody was destroyed. And nothing but ashes here. Just because you read a certain place, a lot of places Bible tell you, like, you know, people are going to be destroyed and stuff like that. That don't mean a lot of times not everybody. You got to read completely the whole thing. You know, the whole chapter on down, verses on down, so you can understand. And verse 13 said, and I saw in the night vision, and behold, one like the Son of Man, coming with the clouds of heaven, you see, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. See, to tell you all that, I'm going to go down like in verse 17. It said, like I said, it said, these great beasts, which are four kings, which shall arrive out of the earth. See, tell you to arrive out of the earth there. Those four, them 10 horns show up. The 10 horns always show up before the Antichrist, because the Antichrist get out, the false prophet get out. The false prophet is the Antichrist. He get out from the third beast and he get with the 10 king. Let's make the final beast. Like in verse 20, they tell you, and of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, that's the false prophet that came up, a little horn, and before whom 3 fell. See, it's telling you 3 fell here. Even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose looks were more stout than his fellow. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. See? The false prophet. Prevailed, same horn. In verse 24, it tells you right there again. See, and the 10 horn out of this kingdom, or 10 king, that shall arise. See, the 10 king arise, the end of the third beast, the 10 king will arise. See, the third beast going to be still in with them 4 heads. See, and the 10 horn out of this kingdom, or 10 king. See, that shall arise. And another shall arise after them, says the false prophet. You're going to get out from the third beast and get with the 10 king. When the United States horn be broken, see, once the United States horn be broken, the third beast will come in. See, he going to be among the third beast. Third beast had 4 heads. He going to be among them. So he going to get out when the 10 horn show up and get with the 10 king. Because it tell you right here, it says, because the 10 horn arise first. And the 10 horn out of this kingdom, or 10 king, that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. See, right here he says subdue. In verse 20 say 3 fell. See, 3 fell. And verse 8 of Daniel chapter 7 and 8 say, he plucked up 3. See, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. See, that's all I'm trying to show y'all. Now I'm going to go back into Daniel chapter 8. See what Daniel say right here. Say, in the 3rd year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me, Daniel, after that which appeared unto me at the first. What appeared unto Daniel at the first? See, like in chapter 7. See, what we just read. This would appear unto Daniel in chapter 8. So, I went all through the first beast, the second beast, and the third beast, and the fourth beast. See, and Daniel talking right here, he talking about the lion, the first beast, in Daniel chapter 8. But he gonna talk about the other beast too, you know. The third beast he gonna talk about in the false prophet, the little horn. See, but Daniel is showing you, telling you what the vision appeared to him like at the first. See, he said after that which appeared unto me at the first. And it appeared unto Daniel at the first, Daniel chapter 7. And Daniel told the matter, you see, of the vision. He said the first was like a lion had an eagle wing. This is what it's talking about here. All right, I'm going to read in verse 2 and saying, I saw in a vision, and it came to pass when I saw that I was at Shushan in the palace, which is in the province of Elam. See, that's Aram. And I saw in a vision. See, he said he saw in a vision, and I was by the river of Ulai. The river of Ulai. And then I lifted up my eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before me a ram. See, there stood before the river a ram, which had 2 horns, and the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other. See, and the higher came up last. See, the higher horn came up last. That's a ram. See, a rock horn, Bush broke a rock horn. Donald Trump looked like he's going to break a rain horn. See, then I lift up my eyes. In verse 3 said, then I lift up my eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram, which had 2 horns, and the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. See, the higher came up last. A ram. A ram is stronger than a rock. A rock horn's already broken. Bush broke a rock horn. But the higher horn came up last. That's a ram. And verse 4 saying, I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward, and see, so that no beast might stand before him. Neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand, but he did according to his will and became great. See, became great. See, all those people were scared to go after Iran, but Donald Trump is going after Iran. In verse 5, it said, as I was considering, and see, it said, as I was considering, behold, and he goat came from the west. See, the United States known as the West, the Western Alliance, on the face of the whole earth. See, the United States got military in all different parts of those nations, all different parts of the world. See, and touched not the ground, and the he-goat had a notable horn between his eyes. See, he touched not the ground. Like I said, it went over there by plane and by boats. See, by ships to Iran. It touched not the ground. These people make believe like it was Alexander the Great. It was moving so fast, took the Median Persian. It moved so fast. It touched not the ground. Bible talking about like in a plane. He's talking about the last days. A goat got to touch the ground. A goat run, he touched the ground. But he's talking about planes, helicopter, and boats. They touched not the ground. They went over there in the water. With the boat, you see how they got all them ships over there now? It just took a little time, but they got all them big ships over there. And then we'll go over there with the plane, and they touch not the ground. That's all I'm trying to show you. I've been saying that for years. And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes, known as the military power. The whole world knows about the United States, like Russia. All knows about it, known as the superpowers. All right, in verse 6, and he came to the ram that had two horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him. See, he ran unto him in the fury of his power. See, that's what they do. See, they ran into a ram. Because it was away from a ram. See, when I stayed far away from a ram. See, he ran in to go over there. Go over there and watch ship and planes. You know. All right. Verse 7 saying, I saw him come close unto the ram. See how them ship all close to the ram and get ready to fight. See, and come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler. See, because they don't want a ram to have nuclear weapons. So he was moved with choler, angry after a ram. Ain't gonna be no peace against him, and smote the ram and break his two horns. See, our rock horns already broke, but a lot of people thought they were going to be broken right behind another. Is because they're reading it here, because the Bible said the holly horn came up last. See, it's been like what 20-some years since they broke a rock horn. I got to break a rain horn. And see, and break his two horns, and there was no power in the ram to stand before him, but he cast him down to the ground and stamped upon him, and there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand. None could deliver the ram out of his hand. A lot of people are saying that Russia, China got help. They may try to give him send weapon there, but they ain't gonna help like themselves. They taught that for Iraq too. I told the guy, saying nobody gonna help, because the Bible saying nobody gonna be able to deliver out of the U.S. hand. And said, in verse 8 said, therefore the he-goat waxed very great. See, they're gonna break a ram horn and say, oh, he's great, wax great. He goes wax very great. And when he was strong, the great horn was broken. See, the great horn was broken. See, it was strong. We don't know how long it's going to be. It can be 6 months, 3 months, or 3 years, or 10 years before after they break a ram. Depends how long God wanted to be out for the U.S. home to be broken. The Bible says his home will be broken after he break a rain home. We don't know how long after. You know, everything is in God's hand. Depends how God wanted, how fast he wanted to move to be done. You know, we don't know. That's all I'm saying. But his home will be broken. The Bible have to be fulfilled. You know, if you understand it. You know, it says therefore the he-goat waxed very great. You know, increased great, very great. And when he was strong, the great horn was broken. And for it came up four notable one toward the four winds of heaven. That was the third beast. Third beast had four heads. See, that's all I'm trying to show you. And they tell you in verse 9. Verse 9 said, out of one of them came forth a little horn. See, which wax exceedingly great. See, so it tells you that out of one of them, out of one of those, it's the false prophet that came out from the third beast. See, and he got with the 10. They're not showing the 10 horn right here. You got to understand that's how the Bible reads sometimes. You leave out a certain thing in a certain place. You have to go somewhere else to find out. See, you go find out like in Daniel chapter 7. Of the 10 horn, he came among those 10 kings. Then the king came first. When the 10 king came first, it came out from the third beast. He got with the 10. When the 10 horn showed up, see, the third beast was in. He was among the third beast. See, when the U.S. horn was broken, 4 of them stood up for the kingdom. He was among them. Among them 4. And the third beast showed up when the U.S. horn got broken. You know, when it came, 4 of them showed up. You know, when the United States horn got broken, then the third beast came in with them 4 heads. He was among those 4. Then after in the latter time of the kingdom, the third beast, the 10 horns showed up. So he got out from the third beast, that little horn, a false prophet, because he was among the third beast. He got out from the third beast and he got with the 10 king. All right, here in verse 9 say, out of one of them came for a little horn, which waxed exceedingly great toward the south and toward the east and toward the pleasant land. See, it's telling you right here. This is the Antichrist. Tell you all about it, like in verse 10, 11, 12, 13. See, you know, it asks how long they're going to be, like in 13. See, it's talking about the end time. Just like I was saying, like in verse 17, he tell you that. He's talking about the end time. It says, so he came near where I stood, and when he came, I was afraid. You see, say when he came, I was afraid, and fell upon my face. But he said unto me, understand, O Son of Man, for at the time of the end shall the vision, say at the time of the end shall be the vision. See, it'll be at the end time. That's what a lot of people do not understand. All that vision will be at the end time. Not talking about back then, what happened with Nebuchadnezzar and all of the Persian Empire happened back then. See, it's a different nation at the end time. Persian Empire was the bear back then. The bear at the end time is a Russian bear. You're watching it all on TV now. That's the Russia symbol at the end time. See, and verse 19 said, 19 tell you again, it said, Daniel chapter 8 and verse 19, it said, and he said, behold, I will make thee know what shall be in the last end of the indignation. For at the time appointed, the end shall be. See, dealing with the end time. See, in verse 20 said, the ram which thou sawest, see, having 2 horns, are the king of Media and Persia. See, that's a rock and a ram. See, all right, verse 21 said, and the rough goat is the king of Grecia, and the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. He is the first king. That was Bush, because he broke a rock horn. Now that being broken, where, see, verse 22 said, now that being broken, talking about the U.S., whereas whereas 4 stood up for its 4 kingdoms. See, 4 stood up for its 4 kingdoms. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Gonna be 4 of them in the third beast. See, the false prophet was among the third beast. See, it said, now they're being broken, talking about the U.S., whereas 4 stood up for its 4 kingdom, shall stand up out of the nation, out of the United Nations, but not in his power, not in the U.S. power, because his horn will be broken. See, and verse 23 said, and in the latter time of their kingdom. See, it's the latter time. Latter time what? Of those 3 kingdoms. The 4 kingdoms. See, in the latter time of their kingdom. Because it was 4 of them in the third beast. When the United States home got broken, the leopard came in. The leopard had 4 heads, 4 rulers. The false prophet was among them. So in the latter time of their kingdom, and when the transgression are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance, understanding of dark sentence, shall stand up. See, dark sentences shall stand up. That's the Antichrist, the false prophet. False prophet is the Antichrist. Shall stand up. They're not showing the 10 horn right here. That's why you have to go back to Daniel chapter 7. See, about the 4th beast. The little horn come among the 10 kings. In Revelation 17 and 12 tell you about it. You know, he give power, the little horn give power. That beast give power unto those 10 kings. Tell you in Revelation chapter 17 and verse 12. So I'm just giving you verses so you can look for yourself. See, it's in the latter time of that kingdom, when the transgression shall come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding of dark sentences shall stand up. And his power shall be, in verse 24 say, his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. See, a lot of people don't be saying all different type of stuff when they say not by his own power. It's by the 10 kings. See, power gonna be mighty. But you gotta be mighty through those 10 kings. Because he's telling them 10 kings what to do. See, that's why in reading Revelation chapter 13, he had 2 horns like a lamb. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 11. There's a false prophet. He had 2 horns like a lamb. He had the political power and the religious power. See, the false power, the Vatican is the head of all the religion. And you had the political, the government power. It's like Nebuchadnezzar. He ran everything, Nebuchadnezzar ran everything in one. He was the head of the worship. He was the head of the government. And Moses too. He ran everything in one. That's all I'm trying to show y'all. And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. It's by the 10 kings, and he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. See? See? Power will be mighty. See? But you go down to Daniel chapter 11. And I'm going to show you. That it be not by his power, but by the 10 kings. Daniel chapter 11 and verse 21. See, tells you right there. And in his estate shall stand up a vile person. You know, that's the Antichrist, the false prophet. He's going to be a vile person, the last pope. He'll come in during the time, around the time of 10 kings. He may be in there. He may still be now in the third beast, because he get with the 10 kings. He's going to be a vile person, to whom they shall not give the honor of the kingdom, but he shall come in peaceably and obtain the kingdom by flattery. See, verse 22 says, and with the arms of a flood shall they be overflown from before him, and shall be broken, yea, also the prince of the covenant. See, in verse 23 will tell you, and say, after the league made with him. What is a league? A group of nations. That's them 10 kings. After the league made with him. He said, after the league made with him, he shall work deceitfully. For he shall come in, he shall come up and shall become strong with a small people. See? After the league made with him, he shall work deceitfully. For he shall come up and shall become strong with a small people. See? See, you gotta work deceitfully after you make a league, give it them 10 kings. So you see, tell you that in Revelation, you give power to those 10 kings. You gotta work deceitfully. That's why his power gonna be mighty. See? That's all I'm trying to show you. But I just went through a few little things, you know, so I can go through more, and then you have to go through Revelation, show all of y'all that too. I'm not showing you from Daniel, you know, Daniel 7 and 8, all that dealing with the end time. It's not dealing with what happened back then. History repeats itself. It's different at the end time. Just like they tell you about the mark of the beast, they didn't have all that big back then. You know, the technology. You know, it's like they tell you back in Daniel chapter 7 about the lion with the eagle wing. See, so they tell you about it like that in verse 4. See, the first was like a lion had eagle wing. I beheld till the wing thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth. See, it's dealing with the end time. It's lifted up from the earth, going out of space. And people couldn't do that, lifted up from the earth way back then. You got to understand what you read. It's like they say it had hair like women fighting, like women fighting fly planes now. You know, you got to understand when you read like Revelation chapter 9. Most people don't read that. They're talking about helicopters and airplane, drones and stuff like that. John was trying to explain it at the time that he was living in. Had chariots and horses and stuff like that. See, we don't fight with no chariots and horses now. That's what I'm trying to tell people that I've been saying that for 20, 30 some years ago. We don't fight like that at the end time. You know, a lot of people just catching on now. But I've been knowing that about 30 years ago. When I read the scripture, Daniel chapter 9 in Revelation. I know that all those deals go with Joel chapter 2. 2 or 3, I think it's 2. You know, when you read Revelation chapter 9, you're explaining that. John is explaining at the time he was living in. You know, for the end time. He explained it as chariot. They had, you know, breastplate. See, when a man sat in a plane, he'd be surrounded by breastplate. It's like them soldiers used to fight them the Roman soldier to put them big plate on the front of them when they were fighting in the army, you know. Some will carry a shield, you know, trying to protect the knife from stabbing them and all that. You know, like a man riding a plane, he put that helmet, golden helmet, or a silver helmet on. You know, so what John was explaining to the people. But most people didn't know that. I hadn't been knowing that for about like 30 years ago. Because I know they didn't fight like that no more. Because I used to watch how they used to fight, use chariot or Spartacus, and they have movies on television. So we don't fight like that no more. You John is explaining the time you was living and trying to explain it the time we are living in. That's why I asked horses run into chariots. See plane make noise when they take off and stuff. This is what I wanted to bring to y'all and trying to explain to y'all the best ability God gave me to explain it to y'all so y'all can look at it and get to understand it. You know, I explain Revelation chapter 9 many times. A lot of these men be explaining it wrong. Some of them getting it now. A few of them. But it's a lot of things you still don't understand when you be reading things. Some saying this, some saying that. You know, everybody's all confused. They don't know what the truth is no more. That's what I wanted to bring to y'all. But thank y'all, and may God bless y'all and give y'all wisdom and knowledge and understanding of His Word.